Tinky Winky.
Tipsy.
La 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 la.
Motherfucking Poe.
Hello.
Hi. Welcome to Wholala, the first in-person recording we've done in a long time.
Long time. Certainly the first for Series 6. We are effectively in a cupboard.
Yeah, pretty much. It's back to the cupboard days, I think, for you and I.
Back to cupboard.
Has that kind of spoiled the illusion of the recording booth that I like to pretend we're in?
Not for the listener, because we did a few audio tests before we started, and I genuinely think it's fine.
It's fine.
But I love doing an in-person one. I love it.
In-person one, I know. Yeah. It needs a little bit wine for me. You're on the dry Jan.
I am. Do you know what I love? And I think some of our best hula is... like when we did Partners in Crime, we got like really nicely buzzed, like not drunk, but like nicely buzzed, and then just like rambled on about Partners in Crime.
Little bit of pizza, little bit of a buzz. Oh yeah,
it was nice. But no, I'm doing dry Jan. I'm sticking with it. It's been a rough week at work, so I've had a few times where I was like, oof, but
I'm feeling sort of sad inside.
I'm feeling sort of awful inside.
Sad.
But no, it's going all right. But no dry Jan for you. Your January's nice and wet.
My January's damp. Last night I went out and I had all of 2 pints, and this morning I was hungover. Like,
After 2 pints?
Well, and an Aperol Spritz. But and it's not just that. It's that I didn't really have any water.
That's not good. I've realised though, for me, anytime I drink, I can drink like a lot of one thing. Like I can drink a bottle of wine easy and not be hungover the next day. But if I have a bottle of wine and 1 rum, or like 2 glasses of wine and 1 rum,
the toxins,
the dioxins, it's the mixing for me. So that the Aperol Spritz did it.
The Aperol Spritz. Or again, no water. I woke up this morning just feeling really quite nauseous, and I thought that's what 28 years old will do to you, I guess.
It'll get you, gal. It got you, gal.
It got me.
Wow. What's been going on since we last recorded? We so well intentionally, we recorded the last episode of Wholala quite far in advance.
Yeah.
And then we were like, we're going to be so far in advance of this one. And then I was like, on the day of, I was like, babe, it's not going to fit into my schedule. I'm so sorry.
I'm really sorry, it's not going to work. No, that was fine. We come back to work. Work for me has been busy but okay. And I feel like work for you has been busy and sort of on the edge.
I'm feeling sort of awful inside again. Yeah, it's been teetering on the edge of glory, but it's fine. It's...
I'm on the
edge of horny. No, it would be fine. It's fine.
It's all right. It's okay.
But you know what? I'm here on a Friday night. We're recording on a Friday night, which is very unlike
us.
Hey-o. So I was just telling Alistair about this TikToker that I'm obsessed with. It's this woman. She's the one who was singing like, and I will try defying gravity. In like a real like Essex accent. She was like, I just love going out on the rise.
Essex? Oh, it is Essex, isn't it?
Yeah.
I get Essex and Cockney confused, but it's Essex.
Yeah, it's Essex. She's like, I just love going out.
Yeah.
And it's funny that I wonder what's going on out in the world tonight at, what time is it? At 10:41 p.m. on a Friday night. And we're here in the cupboard. Talking about Blink.
In the cupboard. I know, and we're 2 episodes behind on The Traitors.
I genuinely would start a Traitors podcast. I would make another competing with the BBC podcast.
Tell you what though, no, because the official one is so good.
No, I'm not always the biggest fan of official podcasts for things. No names. Pregnant pause. But the Traitors podcast is so good.
We can't say that. No. Otherwise, they'll never give us a gig. They're never going to give it to us anyway. But
no, but the Traitors podcast is really, really good.
The Traitors podcast is
but
really
they bring
solid.
on the people who have just been eliminated.
Right. And I think that if I was going to have advice for anyone else's podcast, would be bring on the talent.
100%, yeah.
Bring
we've tried.
Trust.
I've emailed somebody's agent and I have not yet got a reply. So.
No.
Reese
Carrot?
Reese Carrot!
We need to choose a date. We need to choose a date.
We do. They'll be on. But that's not what we're talking about today.
No.
We sort of teased, I can't remember if it was the end of the last episode. I think it was, that we wanted to go into something a bit blinky. And we had a lovely listener message us recently. They said that for season 6, they want us to do more Matt Smith episodes. So we decided to do a David Tennant one.
Nice.
But the reason is that we want to go into a little angel period. And I didn't feel like we could kick it off without doing the original one. I can't believe we made it 112 episodes into a podcast and not spoken about Blink.
It's such an obvious choice of one to discuss that it's been overlooked time and time again. And it's one that reviewing it is hard because, again, it's one of those episodes that you like know so much like beat by beat that it's like it's difficult to get like a real authentic emotional reaction to a story that you know that well.
Yeah.
And remember, like, I'm like, oh, it's so scary. But of course, like, at this stage, it's not scary at all because I've seen it 50 times.
But then I love making other people jump. I was watching it with Nick and obviously, and you and Josh. And we were sat down and I knew the bit where the angel, they're like, you're not looking at the statue, neither are you. And they look and it's like, dun! I like jogged his leg at the same time and he let out quite a yell.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, so if in case you haven't noticed, we are talking about Blink. We will later be talking about other.
That tease, when you said we want to do something a bit blinky, that was subtle.
Did you just pick up on that?
That was so subtle.
I dropped that like a hint.
That could have meant lots of them, couldn't it?
It could have. We are doing something a bit blinky, but we are going to be doing some Matt Smith ones a bit later down the line. Thank you also. I'm glad we waited to record this one because we got a lot of lovely feedback about the last episode we did, series 1, sort of season 1 rejig.
Yeah, our rejig.
Yeah.
It was, that was nice because that was just us having a yap. And I'm glad the yap was received so well.
I kind of want to do more like what if style episodes. Like, you know how, I mean, this one's been talked to death, I think, but like what if the 10th Doctor stayed on for another series? But like, what if series 3 was with Donna? Like, what if Donna had said yes at the end of The Runaway Bride? Like, I kind of like that kind of idea. I feel like I want to do more.
I think the what if series is good. So actually, yeah, if you want to tag us with your ideal what if scenarios for us to chat through, we'll do some more planning for you, some more ideation, and we'll work our way into the script editor's room.
Yeah. They'll let us in, right?
Eventually. We keep knocking at the door.
Keep knocking on the door. Well, as I mentioned, this week we are talking about Blink Finally. It aired on the 9th of June 2007, a mere 1 month before my birthday. How old had I been? I'd have been turning 10.
Oh, the big 1-0.
The big 1-0.
Oi, oi.
It was written by Stephen Moffat and directed by Hetty MacDonald. It had a overnight viewership of 6.62 million and an a juicy IMDb score of 9.8 out of 10.
This was truly an episode by the Hettys, like legit.
That's legitness. Now, for anyone, well, I mean, is anyone here listening to this podcast and having not seen Blink? Let's be so for real.
Hello.
Well, I say that, but like, there's a lot of people who. We're getting a bit old.
We're getting on.
We're clocking in some years. And there's a lot of people who jumped on at like Matt Smith and stuff, and I'm sure they've gone back and rewatched, but like there probably are Doctor Who fans about it. Like shooty fans who've never watched things before that. Like there's probably are Doctor Who fans that have never seen Blink.
It's been 18 years. If this was 2000 now, this would have come out in 1982.
Can you shut the fuck up right now? You stop that. Eye of the Tiger.
Well, how many years? 18 years before 2007 is 1989.
When Doctor Who stopped.
Wow.
That's weird.
Yeah.
The same amount of time between Doctor Who stopping and Blink as Blink to now.
God, wow.
That's horrific. Anyone who follows us on the socials has seen this. I've been doing my like little, I don't think I'm neurodivergent, but maybe I am project, where I've made this like book basically of every single Doctor Who figure.
Yes.
And I was going through all the different variations of angels. And I was like, these buggers are in a lot of episodes. These are in a lot of episodes. But yeah, it's weird to think about how much time has gone between. That's so weird.
I'm sorry, I'm just readjusting here.
I feel like this is going to be one of the unedited episodes. Every so often
I'm going to hear a little shuffling around.
When
my knees are getting a little sore as well.
No.
I'm sort of here on my knees on the floor.
Praying. I feel like whenever we do an in-person episode, we always try and say we're going to do it without editing. We always do some light editing. But so far
it's been all right. There's one cut. Let's see if we can work out where it was.
Exactly. Well, if you haven't seen Blink, I don't know what you're doing here, but you should go and watch it on iPlayer. However, if you haven't, we have done a little recap for you.
I like to imagine there's one person out there who could not give less of a monkeys about Doctor who for them, statistically possible, like if you just do like the thinnest slice of our weekly listenership, there may be someone out there who just uses this as like bedtime white noise.
Maybe.
And they've just peeked one eye open. Because they're like, oh, they mean me. And they're trying to get off the bed right now. And they're like, oh, what?
And I'd like to use this opportunity to say, happy birthday, Jack. I don't know who Jack is, but there's probably a Jack listening. It's probably their birthday.
That freaked them out.
Did that freak you out, Jack? Don't look away. Don't tell you. Well, I can hear you. I can hear you.
You got very close to the mic for that.
I did. I wanted it to be immersive.
Plosives all over the shop. Right.
Yeah. Right. We're going to do an episode recap if you haven't watched the episode, but we do recommend you do. If you want a little recap, here you go.
Here you go. Sally Sparrow, a curious photographer, stumbles upon an abandoned house called Wester Drumlins. Inside, she finds strange messages under the wallpaper directed at her, signed by the Doctor, brackets, 1969. Things take an even more bizarre turn when she brings her friend Kathy Nightingale to visit the house the next day. Kathy suddenly disappears, with a man appearing at the door telling Sally that he's Kathy's grandson, leaving her a note explaining that Kathy was sent back in time.
Sally learns about the Weeping Angels, terrifying statues that move only when unobserved. They kill their victims by sending them to the past and feeding on the energy of their lost potential lives. Meanwhile, the Doctor, stuck in 1969 with his companion Martha, communicates with Sally through hidden messages in DVD Easter eggs, warning her, "Don't blink."
With help from Kathy's brother, Larry, Sally pieces together the Doctor's clues and discovers that the angels have stolen the TARDIS. He sends her this message through Billy Shipton, a detective inspector that Sally met in the present day, who got sent back to the 60s. Back at Wester Drumlins, Sally and Larry trick the angels into looking at each other, freezing them permanently. The TARDIS is returned to the Doctor, allowing him to escape the past.
1 year later, Sally and Larry are running a shop together, and Sally sees the Doctor and Martha outside, though they have no memory of her. She realises that she's in their future and gives them a bind with all the details of the angels, realising that she was the one that gave them all the information they needed after all. That's what we do at the end of every episode recap. Like, yeah.
Oh, how nice.
How nice.
Every time we need to turn around more often. Just go boo.
Boo. Well, before we jump into our thoughts, as always, we reached out to you on social media. It's at Wholala Pod everywhere. Here's what some of you had to say. We actually got a lot more response on Blue Sky than we got on X this time, which
finally
I like. I'm trying to wean ourselves off all the evil corporations. We now, I will say this, we don't have a Threads account anymore. We were trying to reduce.
That's a good start.
It's a good start. Reduce our meta intake.
Just about. Still very active on Instagram, so
yeah, not much we can do about that now. But anyway, we got a couple responses on X. Sutton said, "Finally, one of the best episodes of Doctor Who, and with a less Doctor-heavy episode, it's still entwined with him and Martha really well. As a child, this is one of the few episodes that I had nightmares about. For weeks, I looked at statues to see if they moved, and it really spooked me."
Oh.
George also said, "There's not much I can say that hasn't already been said over the years, but the sheer creepy vibe and the paranoid fear this episode makes you feel remains unmatched. It was raining when we met. It's the same rain. Iconic line. Would love a Sally Sparrow Eternal cameo one day."
Love. Okay, over on Blue Sky, Kate said, "This episode gave me enough trauma to not watch Doctor Who for another 5 or 6 years, and my lifelong fear of mannequins like the Madame Tussauds ones. It took me another few years to watch this episode, and I've definitely come to appreciate it." Jamie said, "Amazing story, honestly no complaints." Steve said, "Sparrow and Nightingale is the spin-off we need," on ITV, of course. Seb the Babe said, "This episode is an icon among icons for me, the very episode that introduced me to Doctor Who. Peppering the Doctor throughout the story while making Sally the star had me endlessly excited and intrigued to watch more, and so my deep love of the Doctor grew from this day on." Do you want to read a couple of these, darling?
I'll read a couple. Why not? Normally it's just one of us with a browse, but I'll read a couple.
I've got so many today.
Matt at Sreddy Hoovier said, "An easy 10 out of 10, but I've never connected with it as the, quote, best episode ever that many view it as. It's a flawless Moffat puzzle box, and Mulligan plays Sally brilliantly, but there's not enough of attachment to elevate it to the levels of, let's say, Heaven Sent." Ethan, finally friend of the pod, said, "As much as it can be easy for everyone to call this story overrated, there's no denying how effective this story is and traumatizing an entire generation, including many casual fans, and generations to come, with arguably the only new Who villain that can rival the Daleks and Cybermen. So iconic, my little cousins were reenacting Weeping Angel poses after seeing just one clip of them on my phone." That's so cute.
I mean, about traumatizing a generation, what Kate was saying about actually having to take 5-6 years off Who is so funny.
I needed a break, just a little break, but I came back.
The Angels were definitely one of the ones that I struggled with, and the previous ones I think were the Clockwork Droids series 2.
Yeah, they were creepy.
Did you get any other nightmare?
I mean, Toby Zed, everyone here knows my
Toby
fear of Toby
Zed
Zed growing up, but the Clockwork Angels, it's Moffat stuff. It's the Clockwork Droids, it's the Weeping Angels, it's the Chula Warriors, it's the Vashnarada. It's Moffat.
It's Moffat, just making you scared of every corner of reality.
Yeah. One thing that I picked up on this, which it's not an undiscovered thing, but the whole point with Moffat is that he takes something normal and makes it scary. But even within these episodes, well, obviously it's blinking. It's not being able to blink is what he's doing in this, but taking DVD extras and giving them a reason that they're there.
In
the same way that, like, in Joy to the World, there's a reason that hotels have those doors. Like, he just loves to take something normal and be like, I know what's there. Aliens.
Yeah. Some people were really digging into that about Joy to the World, and they were like, I've never been in a hotel room, an extra room with an extra door. And I definitely
it's just, you've never stayed in a conjoining room before.
That's it, though, isn't it? That's the boring answer. It's just like, it's just a conjoining.
It's
a connecting door, sorry.
Yeah.
But no.
But what did you think of this episode, Alison?
I thought it was great. I really like it. Like I said, what's sometimes tricky about going back to a story like this is it's like so reliable and so solid. And I know it's so beat for beat, and I've seen it so many times. You have to try and remember the emotional feeling more than feel it.
For me, what I always think of with this episode, so I was the Doctor Who kid at school, everyone knew I was. And I remember there was a teacher, so I would have been in, I think, this was like a year later, so I'd have been in like year 6, 2008. And a teacher from another class said to me, I'm doing a lesson. I don't know why she asked me this. This was really weird. She said, I'm doing a lesson about setting a scene for my class. I'm talking about setting a scene. And she asked me, she was like, is there a good Doctor Who episode that really sets the scene, like in the opening scene? And I was like, oh my God, babe, yes, there is. And so I remember bringing in my Doctor Who DVD and I wrote my name on the actual disc just in case someone tried to steal it. I don't know. And I gave her and I was like, Blink, show them Blink. And she showed them the beginning of Blink and she was like, that's amazing. That's such great storytelling. It, like, you drop in the middle of the episode and it sets the scene perfectly. And I always think about that.
You didn't dream this. This really happened.
No, this really happened. I had a DVD with my name written on it because I gave it to the year 5 teacher. It's such a random, weird, specific thing that definitely did happen to me.
It's a very specific memory, and I'm glad they gave you the space to begin your Wholala journey that young.
That was it.
Let me do a little show and tell. Let me bring you the episode description and let me do a short review for you.
Also, iPlayer didn't exist, I'm pretty sure, so I had to bring in the DVD.
You had to bring the DVD. Was that the DVDs where it had like 3 stories in one?
Yeah, so this would have been disc, I want to say 4?
Yeah,
pretty sure. It was the same disc that had the Scarecrow two-parter on it.
Have we already done that one?
Yeah, we did it ages ago.
Oh, it's one of my favourites. I love that one.
I know. Very, very good.
Yeah, so I love it. It's funny though, now watching it, it's actually like, in Moffat terms, it's actually quite straightforward in terms of the time travel story.
Get your seat, get your bum. Alice is getting a cushion because we sat on our knees.
For my knees.
You can see that I'm kind of sprawling my legs out, so...
Oh no, they're getting awful painful.
I just imagined the woman, I had this vision in my head suddenly of the woman warning people about bad weather, but as if she was in this episode. She's like, don't blink and you're dead. Stay away from treacherous roads. Don't go in the sea and don't blink.
Don't turn your back.
Don't look
blink.
away and don't blink.
Don't look away. Incredibly, people have been turning their backs.
I've seen people blinking with their eyes closed.
Oh my God.
That's so funny. Oh my God, we have to make that a meme.
Clip that up right now. Oh my God,
up.
That was funny. You know the other bit that was a funny to me? When there's that like...
a funny
to me. Was when they're downstairs in like the police garage and they're like, yes, all the abandoned cars from West of Drumlands, which is a great moment and really spooky. And I forgot about that like prior to the point that Sally's even got herself into this mess, like hordes of people have gone missing. Yeah. Like the angels have been absolutely feasting on people and the police have been turning up like literally like every other week, like to haul away another car. And anyway, so I guess this house has got some kind of reputation and people have been turning up, which is fun. Like I like that people have been doing that prior to this. But anyway, the angels steal the police box. They dispatch I've forgotten his name. Love interest.
Billy Shipton.
They dispatch Billy and then they take the police box. And so Sally comes back, she's still wet, and like
she saw Billy.
She's dripping wet for a lot of this.
Because she saw Billy.
Listen.
None of that lewd talk on this podcast.
This is an appropriate podcast.
Well.
And the garage door is busted wide open. Don't say anything. And the rain is falling outside. And we were like, how did they carry away the police box? Without...
you know, like Looney Tunes, like...
like yeah, exactly. Like on like a marimba. And...
Well, I was saying to you, you were like, how did they carry the TARDIS bay and no one saw them? And I was like, what if it's like Toy Story 2 where they'll have traffic cones?
Exactly.
And they have traffic cones on top of you. Just see these little angel legs going like... carrying a phone bar.
Exactly right. That's what they did. So under like massive traffic cones.
What if like angels wore like sunglasses or something, and they were blacked out, so painted on the inside, so they couldn't see anyone. So they're like walking around.
They're in one of the cars of the people that was left behind, and they just
they put the TARDIS in the top box.
One in the driver's seat. Everyone else in the back, eyes covered.
but like, if you had tinted windows, no one's observing you. So the angel's just like in the whip, like
exactly.
Oh my
with
God.
the TARDIS strapped to the top, like luggage.
Yeah.
Love it. That's what they did.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
So funny.
This episode, it dates itself at points, but like in a really good way. Like when Sally gets the letter and realizes that I nearly called it Angela. That's not her name. When oh my God, what is her name? Her friend.
Oh, Kathy.
Kathy. Why am I thinking Angela? Anyway, when Kathy goes missing and Sally's like, Kathy, where are you? And she kind of like runs around. You get such like, I called it like bibbity bibbity music, where it's like bibbity bip, boop, 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 bibbity bip, boop, and it's very like series 3.
It's like a synth jazz riff.
You like jazz?
You like jazz?
Yeah, it like aged the episode in a really funny way for me.
Oh, the other things that I felt really aged it, there's like lots of references to like, have you got a portable DVD player? Of course.
Like it brings back memories of DVD Easter eggs. Like that's such a thing. I used to love like going through all the menus, and you would find. Do you remember getting a CD and it would have a new track at the end of the album? Like it wouldn't have it listed on the back, and it would have an Easter egg of like a whole new track.
Yeah.
For the OG listeners here, did anyone have the Mamma Mia soundtrack on CD? Had a bonus track on the end.
Did it? What? Yeah. But when you say Easter egg, is it listed or is it?
No, on the back of the DVD, on the back of the CD. So I'm thinking about Mamma Mia the movie soundtrack. It lists all the songs and it ends, and then at the end of the last song, there's like 30 seconds of silence. Like if you have it playing on a CD player and you just don't stop it, it has 30 seconds of silence. And then it was Thank You for the Music, and they have a whole new song at the end.
So it's not a new track; it just carries on.
Track
12.
Track 12. It's a new song, but within the same track. So track 12, if you like ripped it, is like 7 minutes long.
So you rip it, and you're like, why is track 12? This is 8 minutes, right? Yeah. Wow!
But it brought me right back to that headspace of like DVD extras,
real Easter
eggs and stuff.
Oh, I love that. You know what they should have done for this that I doubt they did? Put Easter eggs on this DVD. Oh, come on. He's got a fun fact for me.
I've got a fun fact for you. I'm going to bring it in now.
Okay.
So in the disc of the original DVD release of Series 3 Blink, which was disc 4, there is an Easter egg on page 2 of the scene selection of Blink. It has the Doctor's Easter egg unedited. So to access it, you have to highlight Blink in the page and select it. Unlike other bonus scenes and deleted footage, the Easter egg remains filmized rather than it being rendered onto video, keeping it supposedly having been filmed in 1963. So I never did this, and I wish I had thought to do this as a kid. If you go on the scene selection for Blink, you can't watch it if you're just watching the episode, but you can find the completely unedited full version of the 10th Doctor's scene.
And you can have a little chat with it.
Oh,
I like that a lot. That's fun.
There you go.
That's really good. Mm-hmm. Like, that's a good compromise in terms of Easter eggs that aren't too hard to do.
One thing that I thought was really weird in this, watching it again and like paying attention, why does... I keep wanting to call her Kathy. Why do I keep calling her... Did she call herself Kathy in... Why do I keep thinking Kathy?
Who? What? Her friend?
Her friend.
It's called Kathy.
Oh.
Well, there we are.
Well, I'd convinced myself it was Angela again.
Earlier on, you're like, why do I keep calling her Angela? And then you're like, it's so weird. I keep thinking she's called Kathy.
It's just her
Well,
name.
she is. Oh, I thought she was called Angela again. Where did you get Angela from?
I don't know.
That's so funny.
I just keep thinking of Angela.
Oh.
Anyway, when Kathy gets the phone call from Sally, I can't stop thinking about Angela.
Who is she?
She gets a phone call from Sally, and she's like, "Oh my God, Sally, you've met my brother, haven't you? Well, you're about to." I'm like, it's the middle of the night. Why is your brother walking around naked, but like so frequently in the middle of the night that like you know he will be doing it? Like you've seen it's 1:30. You know your brother will be. Oh, it's his naked walking time.
Exactly. Oh, Sally, that's when he gets his dick out. It's half one.
Sally, it's 1:30.
Sally.
You know they say like
Sally, this is when he flops his dick about. Oh,
you know you say like the demons come out at 3 a.m. and like people wake up.
It's the witching hour. He's possessed.
Oh my God.
At this one time.
Sally.
Oh my God.
That's when his cock's out.
Sally. I hate you. I hate you. I hate that. And I was just thinking this because in that scene, like, he lives alone with his sister.
Yeah.
I honestly, at so many points, misunderstood that. I think when I was younger, and I was like, so, like, she's the girlfriend and did not clock, like, brother relationship.
Brother. I hate you. I hate you.
I hate you. It is a funny scene. This is where, like, my boyfriend observed, like, Stephen Moffat is quite a horny writer, right? Like,
he is.
No one else weaves in this much nudity, this many gags about. I mean, again, I'm sorry that I keep bringing this back every episode. Clearly, we're going to have to get to it at some point, and it does follow the Angel theme. But
Time of the Doctor.
Time of the Doctor. The nudity scenes in that are so unwarranted. And so many points, the Doctor is so well aware. I'm flashing you, Clara. Lol. And then he's like, I just flashed your grandmother. Lol. And then he's like, come here, Clara. Warm up. Put your body against me. While they're both in their, like, nudity suits.
Creepy. I was watching this thinking about that, and I was like, I'm so glad he didn't write Sally like that. Like, Sally, I think, is written quite differently to how any other Moffat character is written. And I like that. She feels quite akin to maybe like an Amy, but she's not written like River. She's not written like Tasha Lem. She is not super, super horny. Maybe for Billy, but yeah, it's weird. She's
a little bit low-key. She's a bit of an emo. There's a part in this as well where someone's like, I think Kathy to her is like, why did you come to this house? Like, it's really spooky. Why do you like old things so much? And she's like, I like old things because they're sad. And she's like,
I wear this hat. I always wear this hat. That's weird.
That's weird. I don't fit in. I don't want to fit in.
Yeah.
And she's like, why do you want to feel sad? She's like, sad is just fun for deep people or something. I'm like,
it's happy for yeah, it's
but,
weird.
You know, sure.
You know what I did like? The ITV dig when she's like, Sparrow Nightingale, that so works, which is a fun payoff for later in the episode when they have the shop called Sparrow Nightingale.
They do.
But the dig at ITV within the BBC show I thought was very fun.
That was lovely. Let me cycle back a sec to Sally Sparrow. Carrie Mulligan, wow, what a casting.
So good.
And I had to look it up and I was like, she's 22 in this. I keep being like astonished by what people can do so young, like in terms of like acting range. She's so good. And I would love her to have come back in some format. I'd still love her to come back now as an older companion.
Yeah.
I say older companion, like she's
32.
Because Catherine Tate, I think, was 39 when she was first on her.
I would say...
No, that's not true. Sorry, no. In series 4, she was 39.
Okay, fine. But I was just saying this about Alistair off camera. I feel like if Doctor Who were to ever go on a hiatus, I'm not saying it should, I'm not saying it shouldn't, I'm just saying if it ever did, I think that the BBC should still invest in the Whoniverse, where if Doctor Who is ever not on screen, we should get a yearly limited series. So each series focuses on a different character. Can you imagine a 4-part miniseries exclusively based on Sally Sparrow having to go back to Wester Drumlins because the Angels have like done so? Maybe the Angels have taken her kid or something, or her husband or her wife or whatever, and she has to confront the Angels again at Wester Drumlins. And you could bring in like one other character of the Whoniverse that like she's never met, like how in that Weeping Angel game that they made in The Lonely Assassins, it was all about Larry and Osgood. Like a Carrie Mulligan led 4-part miniseries about Sally Sparrow. What other monster can you ever imagine Sally meeting?
They could really lean in and make it very ITV. Be quite funny, like give her the long coat, make it a detective drama-esque. Lots of like slow-mo scenes of like the coast.
Bring Sheridan Smith.
Yeah, Sheridan Smith plays one of the Angels. Lots of like, you know, maybe she has to go to like different houses, different locations, things have happened. But she's on
the Cornish coast.
I don't know what I'm gonna do without my husband, and she has to comfort someone and be like, well, he's with the Angels now.
Can you imagine a Sally and Gwen led series?
Yeah, great.
Oh, okay.
My solution to killing a weeping angel, by the way, no one's ever asked for this. I feel quite strongly about this. It says you can't kill a stone. I'm like, maybe not, but I can certainly smash it. So smash it then. I would simply take a sledgehammer to an angel.
But you can't do that. Your boyfriend said this. You can't do that without blinking. Try lifting a sledgehammer, whacking it at a stone angel, and doing that without blinking.
But as I get impact,
then you blink.
Even if I blink on impact, surely I get a moment of.
But it's like faster. It's faster than you can imagine.
You know, you've actually made a good point. Okay,
like it would probably just like if you blink as it's making impact, it would just like, if I could save time in a bottle, like the Weeping Angel just
would unlock
to the side
as I blink. Yeah, you're so right. Okay, what's that thing Ace has? The explosive, like
Nitro 69 or something.
She could use that. It'd be fine. Yeah, totally fine.
Young Billy is
Fitty. We had some questions about the accent they were going for.
I think what they did is they cast old Billy first, and I think that is his accent, and then they cast a young Billy, and they were like, we want you to kind of look like him and then figure out the accent. I don't know that he did, personally.
He got somewhere there.
Well, we were watching it with the Bayesian. He was like, I don't know what he's doing, but he's not Caribbean. I'll take that for him. Take that for now.
Yeah.
I don't know. But he was fit. I really like as well seeing Sally in that context, because I don't, by the end of this episode, you don't know whether Sally and Larry are meant to be together. It's hinted that they are. And then consider whatever you want canon. They made a sequel game to this called The Lonely Assassins during Jodie's era, and you learn in it that Larry doesn't end up with Sally, and he ends up actually being sent back and living in the 1920s with his wife,
with another Sally,
with just a different woman.
I think he said she was called Sally.
No, I've made some notes. She's called Natasha.
Oh, sorry, Larry. I thought
Larry.
No. So Billy goes back. When Billy goes back, his wife is also called Sally.
I'm going the long.
I'm sorry.
I was saying this episode ends with the will they, won't they of Sally and Larry, but I never really liked them as a romantic pairing, because that just was never the vibe that I got while they were together. They were just kind of trauma bonding. So what I liked bringing it to Billy is that we see Sally in a little embarrassed, like I have a crush on you kind of state of mind, which felt very unlike how she spoke with Billy, with Larry. Too many re's in this. Kathy, Billy, Larry, Sally. Kathy, Billy, Larry. Sally, really? Where's Angela in all this?
Not even close. Because the thing is, coming to see now, I'm having a moment. Names, not Billy, Larry. Larry he's in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
And he knows things that we need to know to advance the story. He's an internet nerd who's been on the forums and knows about, what's he on, the egg forum? Also, it's the egg forum is going to explode.
Mama, she could smell the Reddit on him.
She could smell the Reddit on him. She's like, by friends, you do mean the internet, don't you?
By friends, do you mean your umphs?
Do you mean umphies? Me and umphies have been trying to work this one out.
What are the umphies messaging on? Me and the umphies on Blue Sky.
Me and the umphies on Blue Sky. Just gonna... When he's face to face with the angel, right, and they're trapped in the house, other than him writing the transcript, which is obviously necessary, he's just kind of Sally, hurry up, Sally.
I can't do this much longer.
And then also he goes critically, give it what it wants. Give it what it wants. Give it the key. Give it the key. He's just had the stakes explained.
Why does he sound like a parrot that's asking for a cracker?
Give me the key.
Oh, I've got a wheezy laugh today. Yeah, but he's the right way. Do you know what you said, which was really fun? You were like, this is just Rory.
It's just Rory.
It's Rory when you first meet him.
Amy.
I can't do it, Amy.
I can't do this, Amy.
Oh, bring me back to Ledworth.
Yeah. There's a specific Rory performance it reminds me of, but I can't think what.
It feels like Rory
Series 5, yeah. Early.
Well, Rory pre-Series 5.
Sorry.
Was Larry Nightingale.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
Yeah. This is such a random thing that I noticed. The picture, when Sally's looking through the photos, and there's a picture of old Kathy Nightingale and her grandkids, and it's that one woman who's an extra in every BBC project, and she was the Bane in the Sarah Jane Adventures. She was Donna's neighbour that goes, haven't seen you for weeks, when she walks past, and I'm sure she's in a million other things, but I just saw her and I was like, it's you!
It's you!
It's the same lady!
She could be, no, she couldn't be, but she could be, she couldn't. The woman who lives
alive
on Donna's Street.
Well, she was alive in 2008 and dead in 2007.
There we are. There we are.
Maybe it's her sister.
Maybe
it's a Clara Splinter.
It could be right.
You really talked yourself out of that,
in seconds. Beep, boop, boop, boop. Boop, 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 boop. The other thing I liked about that performance of Kathy being old was, dear Sally Sparrow, I have lived a good life, but I'm very old now. Do tell my brother that I'm not coming back.
I love that.
I'm sure you'll think of something.
I love it. Intercut as well. That's very Clara being an old lady. That's what that is.
Yes, it is.
I love it as well. Intercut with I'm not in Hull. Stop saying Hull.
You're in Hull.
The guy. Do you know what, Nick? It was quite
sweet.
Stop
saying Hull.
Nick's seen this episode before and he does really like it, but every so often he'll notice something else. And he was watching this and he was like, wait, so is her husband the guy she meets, the first guy she meets? We're like, yes. Like, as if you haven't watched this 18 million times since 2007. And he was like, that's so sweet. That's so nice. And I was like, that's stalkerish. Like, that he followed her.
But he wouldn't stop following me for 50 miles.
That happens a lot in The Doctor with the Wardrobe. It happens again. It's like, he followed me home and he said he'd keep following me home unless I married him. So I thought, I didn't want to argue. I didn't want to be rude.
In defense of, it's horrible. In defense of Moffat, like, that is fresh out of like an old time. That feels like exactly the sort of story your grandparents would tell.
Yeah, like, she worked in the milkmaid,
and he'd come in every day, and
he wouldn't leave until I said yes.
He'd stare at my baps until it was time to go home, and
stare at my baps till they were fully toasted.
And in the end, he proposed 27 times, and I had to say yes. I had no other options.
Oh, goodness. One thing I want to say that's much of this is just us yapping, which I actually love. But one thing I want to say that's actually really cool is I love the direction of this episode. Like, I've not really focused on it before, but Hetty McDonald, the director of this episode, did such an interesting job. There's loads of shots that are like split between like the back of an angel's head and like a little shot of someone peeking through something.
Yeah.
But there's one specific thing that I love where when Larry's staring at the angel and Sally runs off to see if the door's locked, the door's like in another room, so you can't see her. But they'd positioned a mirror exactly at the right angle that behind Larry you can still see Sally in the other room, like trying the lock. And I just thought that was so interesting.
I thought that was really good. There's a lot of really good creative shots in the house, like weird angles, and you sort of see action happening from like behind a chandelier or something, and there's loads of great shots in this. The whole conversation that happens on like across like the DVD with the Doctor through time is really good. They feel very vulnerable in that room.
Yeah,
I love that build towards, and that's it. I'm afraid something stops you talking. I don't know what, but there's something about them in that room, in that creaky old house, just with that like one light source. Just makes you feel like it's almost like as well. There's something about the blocking where like they've got their backs to the wrong parts of the room. Like they have their backs to the doors, and they feel quite vulnerable in there. And they hear like something moving around, and they look around, but they're just like they're not looking the right way to be on guard. And there's something about the way. Anyway, that scene makes you feel like they're vulnerable.
Yeah, I agree. It's a mixture, I think, of very good direction, very, very good set dressing, and also just great lighting design as well. Like you said, with the one creepy light, the bit where the angel's pointing, and it's like, why are they pointing at the light? Like, it does feel very Scooby-Doo house. I know he's joking about it, but it does feel like that kind of typical haunted house that you get in a cartoon, where you see that one book on the bookshelf painted and everything else is like block colours. Like, it's that book. But I really like the setting, because Nick watching, he was like, oh, did we ever find out why they're at Wester Drumlins? Like, is it like a timey-wimey reason? And we said, no, I think it's just a creepy house.
They just chose a creepy house.
I
think it's probably that they wanted somewhere that they could spread out. Not
spread their wings and fly,
and not be detected, not be observed, and so people will be sort of lured in slowly.
I also realised that the sound effect for the Weeping Angels just sounds like a squeaky wheel. It's like
it's like a broken trolley, isn't it?
I don't remember them doing that in any of the other Angel episodes. What is synonymous with an Angel mean now, which I don't actually think is in this episode, is that like that noise, but in this it's like well, that sounds like a clown bite.
They sound like monkeys. Well, the other small moment, if we talk now quickly about the Doctor and Martha in this.
Oh yeah.
Sure, why not? One, I quite like the Doctor's introduction to Billy when he meets him in the past. He's like, oh, this is my timey-wimey detector. It goes ding when there's stuff. It's such a classic like 10th Doctorism, and that's really fun. And then he says something about like, and also it can
boil an egg at 20 paces, whether you want it or not, actually. So I'd stay away from hens. It's not pretty when they blow.
It's not pretty when they blow. It's a good line that I feel like I'd never really picked up before. So I really enjoyed that.
You lose a lot in the 10 jabber.
Yeah. Also, this episode, I mean, you would believe if I set you up for this episode and I was like, the Doctor is traveling with his companion, but they've utterly fallen out and they hate one another, but they are bound to travel together for the next year against one another's will. Identical relationship.
I believe it.
They hate each other.
The Doctor he's such an arsehole to Martha, like, all the time. Like, and rightfully so, like, this man who she's decided to travel with, who promised her that, like, he'd keep her safe, has stuck them in the 60s with genuinely no way of getting out. And she has had to now just get a job in it. She's been there, I think, didn't they say they've been there like 6 months or something? And she, like, as a woman of colour in the 1960s, is having to work in a shop.
Once again.
The Doctor doesn't seem to have taken up employment.
No.
And
he's just fiddling around building little machines.
Yeah. And, like, he seems surprised that she's, like, pissed at him.
Yeah.
And then, like, when he's filming the video to Sally, she, like, jumps in. She's like, I have to go work and jump in the shop. And he's like, Martha, I'm talking. And then at the end, like, the world seems to be ending with whatever, like, the Red Lotus and migration is.
The red hatching.
The red hatching. And he, like, stops to yabber with this pretty blonde lady. And Martha's like...
It's Martha. This blonde is speaking to me.
Oh, it's blonde. What a surprise.
Blonde. Oh, what a surprise.
The way that was probably a Sally reference.
Yeah, probably.
It probably
could well have been.
The Doctor was blonde.
He just cannot stand her. No. Like, he is so mean and nasty to her. And for why? Yeah. Poor Martha.
It's also a great Martha outfit she wears right at the end.
It is. We never saw it again. The pink headband.
Yeah, pink headband. Never see it again. Shame. I do think it's a fun ending, though. That ending that it was Sally all along. It was Sparrow. It's Sally Sparrow. I can't even fit that. It's Sally Sparrow all along. Like, the reason why
not quite
didn't fit in that well. The reason they have all the information they have and they have what they need is because Sally was the one who gave it to them in the first place. I like that kind of like it kind of closes the loop, like the whole story. It's a time loop, but it has like an end. Almost.
Yeah, this is the thing. It's a Moffat sort of timey-wimey time loop story, but this one feels really easy to follow.
It's digestible.
I don't think I've come across many people who were like, I couldn't understand Blink, I didn't understand what order it happened in.
But it's because the answers are in the episode.
But it took time to explain it to someone who was like, Sally's brand new to time travel, and so he has to re-explain what's happening.
Yeah.
I think some Moffat stories with time loops, Joy to the World is another one of them, where people are like, what?
I was trying to explain it at Christmas. I was watching it with some of my family, and they were like, wait, hold on. So what? So where did he get the code? So what did we do? And I had to try and I had to think about how I was going to explain it.
And there's something really mumbled in that about, oh, well, it's within the causal nexus. So those spaces, the doors of the hotel are physically linked, so it's paradox proof. It's like, sorry, what? Say it again.
Wait, no, Gary, say it again.
Gary, say it. Well, we can't get into all Comptons. We've got, what's he saying?
We can't get in the village, we've got all Compton.
Sorry.
Wait, no, Gary, say it again.
Gary, say it again.
All I need's a fucking shot. Yeah. No, you're right, though. Like, this is easily digestible. I think, like, I've watched this episode with my parents, and they have, like...
Everyone gets it.
Everyone gets it.
Everyone gets it. And I think that's the nice thing. I think you can be clever while keeping it...
You said a really good thing when we were watching it. Did I?
Did I?
That this episode proves that at this time Doctor Who wasn't written for children. Children could enjoy it, but it wasn't written for children. I think
wasn't.
That is an issue with Doctor Who today, that it feels a lot more written for kids, and you're cutting out an audience in there. I think people shouldn't underestimate kids. Like, I think about my 16-year-old cousin watching this at Christmas. No, not even that. I think about my 12-year-old cousin watching this at Christmas. And he was like, wait, I have no idea what's going on. He was asking me, like, can you explain Joy to the World to me? Can you explain what's going on? I don't understand. And I think to myself, oh, but he's a kid. Like, well, he wouldn't understand. Why would he? I was 7 when Rose came on. So by the time period of me being 12, we were on series 6.
Yeah, and also anything that I didn't understand, I think, like, conceptually, in terms of how, like, that's why I had the annuals.
Well, yeah,
and that's why I had the kind of, I was like, oh, but I want to get my head around. Yeah. And then I go back to the DVDs and then I'd find the answer.
Exactly.
So,
but
I think what I mean more is, like, I feel like in this and in other stories from this era, it feels more like adults having real conversations with each other that sound like how adults talk to each other.
Yeah.
Like, even in as much as I'm like having a laugh about him walking naked around the house, I feel like you just wouldn't include, like, an idiot naked brother in a current episode.
You wouldn't.
Ruby wouldn't be like, oh my God, my useless brother's here and he's, well, he's got a brother, but I don't think I don't know how to explain it, but I just feel like conversations that Ruby and the Doctor have don't feel like two grown-ups talking to each other as much as...
It feels like you're watching it through the lens of what they think a child sees, but I just say, like, don't underestimate children. Children get it. Children understand.
They do. But I also think they like TV that they think is a little bit above what they're allowed to watch. Probably pushing the limits of, this is grown-up telly that I'm able to get away with. It's a bit, you know.
Listen, in the same episode, there's the naked man walking around. The same episode, there's a weeping angel absolutely yeeting a brick at the back of Sally Sparrow's head. Oh my God, when we were watching it, because the Doctor's saying, like, duck, Sally, duck now. I was like, what if we just got, like, this really dramatic pan into Carey Mulligan's head and she goes, quack, and then like just gets whacked in their back of the head by a brick.
Duck now. Really?
What does she
really?
What does she goes, goose?
And then,
hit, decks the floor, opens her eyes. It's the 60s.
Also, the way that one angel was just like, rather than do my usual approach, which I could do very easily because I have plenty of time because she's had her back turned for about a minute, was like, I would rather knock her out with a brick then go over and send her back in time. Oh my God. I don't know why.
So
why? That angel showed violence that one day was like, I'm going to throw a rock.
It like just looked around, it was like, but also like, would that be like me like taking like a pile of meat and throwing it? It's like it's made of
rock, yeah.
It's just like,
When angels unfreeze, if we could see them unfrozen, which you can't. But like, do they look like rock?
I mean, we've seen it now. Well, okay, so as of Blink, we hadn't, and who knows? We have seen it now.
But are they not like in a half state when they're moving really slowly when we see that? We never see them move fast. We never see them like...
They're just jelly.
I just kind of imagine that they became like fleshy for a moment.
I feel like if you had your eyes shut and felt a weeping angel while it was moving, I don't imagine it feeling like...
I don't think it'd feel like stone. I think it would feel like a cold hand.
I can see that.
But I could be wrong.
I don't know. They are scary in this episode, though. I know we're laughing a lot and joking, but it's just because we've seen it this much. If I watched... Like, I had a friend round who's kind of like a very casual Doctor Who fan a few months ago, and we watched Blink, and then we watched Angels Take Manhattan, and she was, like, freaked out. Like, I have an angel figure, and I put it on the table next to us, and she was like, move that. She was like, I don't want to see it.
Move that.
Can you believe Moffat has one of these in his garden?
I know. Angels Take Manhattan. Have they not worked out by that point that they can close one eye at a time? They have, haven't they?
I think so. I also think they might do that in Time of Angels, which we may be visiting soon.
Oh, I think they have, because that's why it becomes an issue.
Yeah.
That even staring at an angel is not an option.
Like, if you look at it too long,
the reflection will become an issue. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I like the bit where the angel's pointing at the light, and the light's like, bing, bing.
Why is he pointing at the...
What?
What do you think of the ending when they're like, Doctor, no, you can't?
It, like, still has, like, a primeval reaction in me, like... That was the bit that scared me the most as a kid, when they're in the TARDIS, they think, oh my God, we're safe, the Doctor's saving us, there's the hologram, which weirdly had an action figure that was so random.
Yeah.
And they put the disc in the TARDIS and they see it start to dematerialize, and then they realise they're being left behind. Like, it makes a lump in my throat, as like I had as a kid, when she's like, oh my God, no, they're leaving. Doctor, no, you can't. And
I remember thinking it had gone wrong.
Yeah,
like
they did something
in my head. I was
wrong.
like, they're putting the DVD the wrong way around. That didn't work.
It's just, it brings this reaction out of me, and it's freaky.
It's freaky. I said this at the end of the episode. I wish we could pull aside our child selves right now and be like,
what do you think?
Boys, what did you think? And they're like,
I don't think I was allowed to watch this on original air. I remember watching, I think, for the first time on the DVD. I don't remember how long ago, I don't remember how long after original air it was. I think it was before series 4, so it wouldn't have been that long after original air, but I remember it was one my parents pre-watched, and they were like, you're not allowed to view this yet.
Did they? So like Saturday night you weren't...
I didn't watch it on original air. The first time I remember watching it was on the DVD. And I think, because people say it was scary all the time, I think I got hyped up by my parents. They were like, this one's a scary one. Like, are you...
Oh, that makes it worse.
No, for me it made it better, because I'd like imagined the worst thing possible.
Oh, right.
And then I watched it and I was like, oh, like, this is okay. What freaked me out more in New Earth with the like flesh, the like, help us, save us, for years, and I'm talking like probably like series 5, I don't know, I would get to the bit where they go underground and open the door to see the flesh, and I'd turn it off. But like,
really?
Yeah, I wouldn't watch it. I'm like, I'm done. I don't need to watch it.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I'd skip right to the werewolf. Oh.
Who?
She's a she-wolf in the cloud.
Oh. Anyway, did you enjoy today's episode? We've got more thoughts there.
No, I'm fine. I'm all good.
I'm done as well.
I'm all good. I did enjoy it. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I did. I did really enjoy it. It's like there's this question of, does it deserve status as the best Doctor Who episode? I think it benefits from being a very memorable episode with one of the greatest ever New Who monsters.
Yeah.
If not the greatest.
The thing about this is it's one of the best episodes of TV, and alone, separate from Doctor Who, it would make a great film. Like, if you just sold this idea to someone else before you made it into a Doctor episode,
Yeah.
it would be a fantastic horror film.
It could be a franchise in itself. The Weeping Angels
100%.
could be a thing without Doctor Who around it. Yeah.
But is it the most emblematic the show has ever been of itself? No, I don't think so. I don't think it's the best episode of Doctor Who, but it's one of the most accessible. And people don't like me saying this, but I think on par with it, accessibility-wise, Love and Monsters.
Love and Monsters, I'll keep defending.
Yeah.
Go back and listen to that episode.
Exactly. Well, thank you for listening to that. I've got we've got fun facts and a little game. I'll play the little game for you first.
Okay. Shall I play the music live this time?
Oh my gosh, let's do it. Let's make it a little bit easier for us, but that means we can't edit anything. That's fine. I'm keeping all of this in.
Okay.
We're going to play a little game called Camp or Die.
Wait, you've done it too early.
No, that's how I edit it.
The little
That's
game
how I edit.
of Camp or Die.
That's how I edit differently to you.
That's how I edit it.
You can tell when it's a Sam and Alasdair edit. Well, anyway, for anyone who hasn't listened to an episode of Wholala before, we like to play a little game called Camp or Damp, where we go back on the episode we just watched and say whether the moments are camp or whether they're damp.
Whether damp.
Alasdair, are you ready?
I hope that sounds so bad on the mic.
Duck! Camp or damp?
Duck! Camp because of the very dyslexic way she reacts. She's
Goose.
She takes a minute, just like, it's like, duck. Really? Duck.
No, seriously.
Please.
Duck.
Duck. And then she finishes reading it, stares at it for a further 10 minutes, and goes,
oh, yeah. I love doing this with the music. It feels so real. Sally Shipton. Sparrow. Camp or damp?
Camp. Silly girl.
Silly
girl. Getting ahead of
goose.
herself. Silly goose. She, yeah, I love it. She, listen, who of us has not a married? Listen, fuck, we can't change it.
We're stuck with this now.
Because the music. Who amongst us has not imagined their wedding prematurely?
I certainly have. And especially with Billy.
Yeah.
And finally, naked Larry, camp or damp?
Oh, maybe a little damp?
But also kind of camp. Oh no, Sally, you've met my brother, haven't you? Like, would that make it better? Have you seen my brother's cock before? What if she was like, yeah.
Yeah, I did. She wasn't impressed, was she?
She did not look best impressed. Maybe Larry was a grower and not a shower. That was so stupid. I love doing that with the music. And that one little fluff that we can't get rid of.
I can't get rid of it.
Oh, well. That was so funny. Well, I've got some fun facts and trivia for you. So I alluded to it earlier that in the video game, The Lonely Assassins, we learn more about Sally Sparrow and Larry Nightingale, and the actor that plays Larry comes back for this, and it's got a lot of Osgood and you're in the middle of a Weeping Angel story. But yeah, it features the 13th Doctor saving Larry from the Weeping Angels. You just hear an audio though. It's a little bit COVID-y, like it's all
so
filmed
COVID.
on iPhones, and then there's a bit where it's like the 1920s. But you learn in it that he didn't end up with Sally. He ended up marrying a woman called Natasha and living in the 1920s.
You know, I'm actually really glad because I don't think he deserved Sally.
No, I don't either. I didn't like them as a pairing. I didn't like the episode ended with like a will they, won't they? Oh, they will. Like I like them as mates. I don't want them as a couple, and I'm glad knowing they didn't.
It'd be quite funny and savage if they'd never had the handhold and it really had just ended with like, we just run a shop. It's just a shop.
Dum ba dum dum ba dum dum ba dum dum ba dum. Now this is something I found. This is a fun fact, but you have found a direct quote that says otherwise. So it's a big rumor that Stephen Moffat offered Sally Sparrow as a longer role for Carey Mulligan. She declined it. This was on IMDb trivia. And then, Alasdair, you told me earlier that there was a quote from him in an interview where he said that he didn't actually even bother offering to her because he knew she'd say no.
Oh, no. So he did offer it. I think he did offer it.
Oh, he did? Okay. Well.
And she was like, it's not the right thing for me at this time. And then she went on to do Gatsby and a bunch of other stuff. And it probably was a great like career decision not to do Who. But I think he said after that point, he didn't bother offering it again.
Wait, so is he saying he offered it to her and she said no? So I thought, well, I'm not going to offer it to her again because she'll say no.
I think just that he was just like, he just knew
she wouldn't want to do
knew
it.
It wasn't the right thing anymore. And and also he said like in a way it's more special now because
it's a one and done.
It was she was just this person who passed through the Doctor's life, and it's nice that she's such a special character that people want more, but someone that special can just drop by for a one-off adventure.
It makes me think of what I like about this is that there must be a million people like this in Doctor's lives. Like I think of in A Good Man Goes to War, that woman who made the little embroidered thing of River Song's name, Melody Pond.
Yeah.
Where she met the Doctor and had an adventure with him, and he's met so many people he doesn't even remember her.
Yeah.
And I quite like that, Sally's one person in that lineage.
Yeah, there's people who just pass through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this episode, it was deliberately Doctor and Companion light. The Doctor and Martha were deliberately not featured in the story that much, so that David Tennant and Free Management could concentrate on their final 3 stories: Utopia, Sound of Drum, and Last of the Time Lords.
And which do we think they were filming at this time?
Let's
Let's just guess. I'm sure there's an answer, but
they were probably filming Utopia just because the Sound of Drums the last time was used a lot of the same sets, whereas Utopia is very much of its own. So I reckon that was in that block, because they normally did blocks of 2 episodes at once.
They probably had to film the TARDIS scenes quite early as well, before they went and dressed it as the Paradox Machine.
Mm-hmm. I reckon they filmed this very near, basically chronologically where it was, like very close to the Human Nature stories and Utopia.
Yeah.
And finally, this is kind of a sad fact, but it's an interesting one. So this is the first New Who TV story to be directed by a woman, and the last episode before this to be directed by a woman was 22 years previous, with The Mark of the Rani Part 1, Mark of the Rani Part 2 in 1985.
Wow.
I mean, I do understand this is only 3 series into a revival, but there were 4 years of Doctor Who since that story. It ended in 1989, and this had been on TV for 3 years. This was the first female director.
And
it's like the best episode.
Yeah. And so we've had a lot more female directors come in since. It's definitely not balanced, though, is it? And it's definitely not balanced with writers.
No.
Well.
What a way to end it. Sally
Sparrow.
There we go.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, lovely listener, for listening to this episode of Wholala. If you enjoyed it, you sound like you're going to say something.
No, just shuffling my knees.
We are. I've been sat in the same position for an hour now, and I did get dead bum now. I've just flipped
dead
to
bum.
the other side. Dead bum.
No.
But dear listener, I hope you don't have a dead bum. As we thank you for listening to this episode of Wholala. As always, you can reach out to us on all of our social media. We are on Instagram, we are on TikTok, we are on Blue Sky, we are on X, and you can reach old episodes of the podcast on our YouTube channel at Wholala Pod.
Yes. And if you enjoyed this episode, please rate it 5 stars wherever you get your podcasts, and remember to follow so that you get notified when we drop new episodes. Sometimes I'm surprised. Sometimes I'll upload an episode, it will tell me that I've uploaded it, and I'll go, oh, I need to do a social post because I forgot I did that. And also you can buy us a coffee, KO-FI, if you want to buy us a coffee. And you can share the podcast with someone who you think would really enjoy it and say, what a good take this week on Wholala Pod.
Yeah, you can also email us your Doctor Who fan anecdotes on wholalapod@gmail.com and let us know your fun stories of the Whoniverse.
Yes, let us know what you thought of... Well, not to be honest, it's a bit late. You can tell us what you thought of Blink. What do they want to tell us about next time, Sam?
Well, I think next time we're finally going to dive into the Matt Smith stories we promised, and the reason we did Blink is so we can go into the Time of Angels.
The Time of Angels. So prepare yourself now. Tonight's viewing is the Time of Angels. Remember to put that on iPlayer tonight so you can join in with us next week.
Yeah. Do you know what I actually want to know is, do we do Time of Angels Flesh and Stone as one episode, or do we give them an episode each? You let us know. Let us know. Well, thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next week.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.